Hello and welcome. So I'm trying something different for this video and doing a voiceover. I have done this before for some of my other videos, but not my vlogs. But I have been off work for the last week. I decided to take a week off as I'm not traveling overseas this year, but unfortunately during this time I ended up with a cold, which is not the best. I didn't have that much planned anyway, so during this time I've just been catching up on my reading and some of my projects and resting. It's also been raining a lot here lately, so even though we're in spring technically at the moment, it's still pretty cold, so I love that. But I wanted to do this video to show you all of the cozy pre-Halloween activities I've gotten up to. I'm starting this off on a Thursday morning, and today I'm going to see Frankenstein. I booked the first session of the first day because I was just so keen to see it as soon as possible, and this is the comfy outfit I decided to wear. I'm also wearing the Girl Called lip gloss that I showed in my last video. I really like the dark red color of this. And then I'm just throwing a cardigan on top to keep warm. And of course, my favorite Doc Martens bag is going with me as well. I decided to go to the market first to get some fresh roses for my room, and then I picked up some breakfast at my favorite Middle Eastern bakery. Before going into the movie, I grabbed some snacks. And I was really happy to see that there were some Halloween pumpkins out because they're not always available here. I then headed into the cinema. As this was a Thursday morning, it was pretty empty, which was great. I actually had a whole row to myself. But overall, I really liked this movie. There were a few changes from the book I didn't love so much, but I love Del Toro in the way he creates such beautiful movies. So I would rate this 7 out of 10, and I'm looking forward to watching it again soon. The first thing I like to do when I get home is make a cup of tea and change into something comfy. And now I'm going to be cleaning up these roses I bought today. I usually just buy roses that are cheaper and dying because I always end up drying them out anyway. But this usually means they have a lot of thorns, so I make sure to remove these really well first. All of the candles in my candelabras have also burnt down, so I'm going to replace these with some new ones that I bought today. For the next few days, I just stayed at home, and I also finally put up some Halloween decor around my library room. I didn't buy any new Halloween decor this year, so I'm only using items I've bought in the past, like these Halloween fairy lights. And I really like the way these look on my bookcase, especially at night. Just gives my room more of a cozy feel. I'm also going to add a few little items to my desk. So this pumpkin candle I bought this year. And I've also got this bigger black pumpkin candle that I bought a few years ago. I am a bit of a candle hoarder, if you haven't noticed by now. I buy a lot and I rarely burn them, but I do want to use more of these pumpkin spice ones this year. And then I've also got this little one. This is from a company that doesn't exist anymore, but I am going to try to use this one up also. I also decorated our living room area a little bit as well. This candle I have had for a while. It's from the brand Lost World Candles. They're an Australian business and it's my favorite candle. I really love the smell of it. And then this is a newer one from Wixcraft Candles, which I have been using quite a bit as well, and it's nearly all gone. I'm also adding this paper mache pumpkin I got from Kmart a few years ago. And then I've got an older TK Maxx candle, which I am trying to use. I really love YouTube ambience videos. I just picked this one randomly and it was kind of funny with the skeleton in the background. And there was a dog too, which was kind of appropriate because Rico was hanging by watching me decorate the whole time. Now that I've got my cozy setup, I'm settling on the couch with my favorite pumpkin blanket and a new book that I got recently. I'll get more into my reading updates and show you more of this book later, but I recently bought the 125th anniversary edition of Dracula, so I've been reading this lately, which has been so much fun with all of the different annotations and notes. It's now Sunday and it's raining again, which I don't mind at all. Today I'm heading to a Halloween market. I hadn't had a chance to wear my Uzumaki set from Black Milk yet, so this seemed like the perfect opportunity. I paired it with my Wednesday Doc Martens and also a Uniqlo coat, which is good for the rain as it's waterproof. I also really like that the hood is hidden under these buttons here, so it's a very versatile piece. And for my jewelry today, I'm wearing a little blood drop necklace from Equinox Art and my usual rings. And yes, this bag does go everywhere with me. I am still not sick of it. It's such a great size. We arrived at the market and were greeted by this cute ghost, and then we headed in. My first stop was Devil's Bath Parlor to stock up on some of my favorites. I really love this brand, and I was really excited to see that they had a Halloween incense this year. I then dropped by Wix Craft Candles to get all the pumpkin spice scented things I could find. I had seen a pair of earrings from a Denki earlier that day on Instagram that I wanted to buy, so we went there next. I also really loved this necklace. There were so many amazing small businesses and so much to look at. It was definitely a challenge for me not to buy everything inside. And last but not least, we stopped by Third Circle Bakery, who makes the most amazing and delicious vegan cakes. I was really happy that the pumpkin items hadn't sold out yet. As we headed out, there was also a free treats table, which I thought was really cute, and they were also giving out stickers and pins too. Overall, this was a really great event, and I hope that they bring it back next year because I would definitely attend again. We then headed out to get lunch, and I found some more Halloween items at the stores there. I really liked this body wash from Lush, but the glitter really threw me off. We also went to TK Maxx, but all the Christmas items had taken over, which was kind of rude. There was a tiny clearance Halloween section, but it was mostly candy and some other random items. I did find some more Halloween candles at dusk on sale, but I'd already bought so many at the market, so I left them. The Beetlejuice items look great also, but I didn't end up getting any of these either. I then did a bit of grocery shopping and got some pumpkin as I want to make some syrup later this week, and I discovered that they also had Halloween items on sale. I also picked up my favorite Halloween candy, which is peanut butter cups. I am now home, so I'm going to go through my little haul from the Halloween market today. This first little bag is from the business Devil's Bath Parlor. This is a brand that I love and have been using for years. I really love all of their soaps and body oils, but they also do incense. So this is a new one that they've got for Halloween, which is called Halloween Harvest, and it's got like a pumpkin spice smell. So I'm going to try this one out this afternoon. I also got this soap, which is part of their 7 Deadly Sins collection. This is Lust, so it's got like a plum and rose kind of smell, which is really nice. Whenever I put it in my bathroom, it smells amazing. And then they always give samples, so I've got a few of those to try out. And these matches, which I just thought were really cute. So I'll be using that with the incense. I also picked up the Umbrella Resident Evil lanyard for my keys. I ended up getting some earrings from this business Edenki. It was really hard to choose, but I decided to go with the Morningstar ones. I actually saw these on the event Instagram this morning and I went to go buy them, and actually the business owner told me that they had nearly sold out, so I'm really happy that I got them. And then the rest of the items I got are from Wixcraft Candles, which is a business I've been very fortunate to work with before, and I pretty much grabbed all the pumpkin spice items. So I got this beautiful pillar candle. It smells so good. I got the pumpkin spiced latte wax melts. And just so cute and in the shape of little pumpkins. And then I've got another pumpkin pie scented wax melt, but a big one. And then I have these little ghosty spiced maple and citrus wax melts. Of course, I had to pick up some cakes from Third Circle Bakery. Whenever I go to an event and she's there, I end up getting a few things. So I've got this headless grave cake. As you can see, it is so beautiful. I don't even want to eat this because it's so pretty. And then the pumpkin patch cupcake tub, which is also so cute. Actually really full right now because I ended up going out for lunch, but I'm going to have a bit of these after dinner tonight. Now that I'm back at home, I'm doing my usual ritual of a hot shower. I put on a face mask, and I also managed to do a bit of editing. I also tried out the incense from Devil's Bath Parlour, which smelled really good. After dinner, we tried the pumpkin grave cake, and it was so delicious, and the pumpkin spice flavor was amazing. I then ended the day watching Attack on Titan Season 3, which I am loving. It's now Monday afternoon and I finished work for the day, so I'm going to make my own pumpkin spice syrup. I haven't done this in a few years, but it's pretty straightforward. I haven't ever been able to find pumpkin puree here. It's really rare, so the most time-consuming part is making this from scratch. So I'm going to cut up this pumpkin into cubes, which I'll then roast. I put the pumpkin into the oven for an hour and then let it cool down a bit before putting it into a food processor. This recipe only requires about 1 cup of the puree, so even though I've roasted the entire pumpkin I bought, I won't be using the whole of it for this. I'm now going to put the spices together, and I'll put these in the caption below. The puree I made ended up being over just 1 cup, so that turned out perfectly. So I'm going to add this into a pot with some water, and then I'm also going to add some sugar-free maple syrup before giving it a good stir. I prefer to use sugar-free maple syrup just because I try to cut down on sugar where I can, but I think most traditional recipes for this will use brown sugar. I'm then adding the spices and I'm going to mix it well again, and then I'm going to let this sit for about 10 to 15 minutes to let it thicken a bit. The last thing that's left to do is strain the liquid. I've tried this a few different ways and I have used a cheesecloth before, but I find it a bit messy, but it does make it finer. But I'm feeling a bit lazy today, so I've just done it this way. Once it's cooled down, I'm then adding it to my little jar and it's ready to go, so I'll store this in my fridge. I'm also making a mixture of the spices separately, which I'll use as a powder. I'm now going to make my first pumpkin spice latte, but as it's pretty late in the day, I'm opting for decaf. I'm then going to let my boyfriend take over from here as he's the barista in our house and he makes coffee much better than me. This turned out to be so delicious, and I'm really glad that I took the time to make this at home. So I'm going to be drinking these pretty much every day leading up to Halloween. The rest of my week has been pretty uneventful, but my Silent Hill 2 remake vinyl arrived, which I was very happy about. I pre-ordered this back in May, so I have been waiting a while for it to be released properly, and I just love this soundtrack and I love the games so much. It's now Thursday afternoon, so I'm going to get my nails done before I go to see the Chainsaw Man movie. Just wearing a comfy outfit. I am thinking about doing a spring summer capsule wardrobe video, so if you're interested in seeing that, let me know. I'm wearing my Prison Realm necklace today and these ginormous platform Mary Janes that I bought off Depop. I really like the buckles of these, and I think this will be a good item for summer. This is the color I was going for. I was going for like a gray. It did not come out the way I had hoped. I don't like these at all, but that's okay. Sometimes that happens with nails. And in the evening, we went to this ice cream place because they had a pumpkin spice flavor, and it turned out to be so delicious. I'm so happy with how many businesses here are starting to do pumpkin spice things. So hopefully they'll bring this back next year. We then headed to see Chainsaw Man. I love this anime. I would like to read the manga soon. I love how funny and unhinged it is. And the movie was the same. I would give this a 10 out of 10. I'd love to see it at IMAX soon. It's now Friday, so happy Halloween. Of course, I started today with a pumpkin spice latte, and it is very cloudy and it started raining a lot after this, so that was perfect. And I'm going to burn more of these pumpkin spice wax melts. My house is smelling so nice at the moment. I popped on my Halloween hoodie from last year. I am liking my nails a bit more today, so that's good. And then I put on Vampire Hunter D while I did some cleaning around my room and organizing. And of course, I have lit up all of my candles for today. My Halloween was very relaxed and it was very chilled and quiet. I just had some snacks and I watched a few movies at home. So it was the perfect night. Just a few quick reading updates. I just wanted to show more of this 125th anniversary edition of Dracula, which I have shown quite quickly in this video. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably already seen this, but basically I found out this came into existence this year thanks to my lovely Patreon member, Casey. And as soon as she sent this, I bought it within 10 minutes because, well, of course, it's Dracula, my favorite book. It's annotated. It's also edited by Decor, which is Bram Stoker's great-grandnephew, and then Robert 18 Bersang, who I discovered after reading the note, sadly passed away, but was an expert on vampire literature and law. There was also the option to have this signed by Decor with your name, so I just chose D, so it's just very special. Just going through this, I've read a chunk of it. There is a lot of notes here, which have been very interesting. And it's just very comprehensive, as you can see. My partner pointed out it looks like a textbook. I love that about it, though. This is an incredible copy to have. It's just so thoroughly researched. Having Dacre and Robert putting their notes in here And I've learnt a lot of things about Dracula that I didn't know. You'll also find in here a lot of things highlighted. So this is Bram's entire abridged edition from 1901, and these are the deletions. And then you'll also have his handwritten changes, which are in square brackets. So it does read a little different, but it's really interesting, very fascinating to see his entire process, his influences, and how he wrote this incredible book. So if you are a Dracula fan like me, I would highly recommend getting this. I got it from the Stoker Estate website. This week, I also received a lovely surprise parcel from Orbit Books, and I received these 3 books. So I have started reading The Feeding by A.J. Ryan. This is an author I have not heard of before, and I'm only a little way in. I've only read a chapter so far, but I'm really enjoying it. It is a vampire book, but it is different, and it's mentioned here. It's like similar to The Last of Us, and I agree. So I'll come back and give you a review of this in my next video. And then I've also got this book, Moonflow by Bitter Corella. I've also not heard of this author. This cover is so interesting. It sounds very unsettling, so I'll be excited to jump into this one soon. And then the last one, The Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre by Philip Fracassi. Also another author I haven't heard of. Love this cover though, and the name. I will also read this one soon. In my reading history, I'm definitely more of a gothic reader compared to horror. Horror is kind of something that I've been new to in the past few years. So it's been a fun journey kind of exploring this genre and finding books that I like. But these all sound really great. So a big thank you again to Orbit Books for sending me these. But if you made it this far, thank you for watching. By the time I post this, Halloween will be over. But I hope that everybody has had a really nice, cozy, spooky Halloween. And let me know what you got up to and what you're reading now.